your life become a cacophony of ringing phones and honking cars? Imagine instead contemplating the quiet beauty of a lily pond. In this hectic world, just the sight of water can restore a sense of inner calm. So it's no surprise that water gardens have become tremendously popular. They are elegant, peaceful, and easy to make. How easy? Well, let's find out from our house doctor, Ron Hazelton. He's in Hillsdale, New Jersey, where he's created a water garden for the final installment of our series, Great Garden Escapes. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Elizabeth. Isn't that beautiful?
It is gorgeous.
You know, it's hard to believe that just a few days ago, there was just a patch of lawn right here. I'd like you to meet Audrey and Dave Stewart. It was their back lawn where we put the garden in. Guys, how's it been having this?
Oh, it's been great. We use it all the time.
We've been able to sit, relax, and talk to each other.
Fantastic. You know, the incredible part is it took us just a little over a day to make this. Let me show you what we did. The first step in creating a water garden is to decide where you want it, and then lay out the shape using a garden hose. Greg Whitstock designs and builds water gardens for his firm Aquascape. You generally want these curves soft or...
Yeah, soft curves, just like it would form in nature. You want to make this contour into the natural landscaping, and with the trees here and with the actual setting of the slope, I think this should be a pretty good shape that we have right now.
After deciding on the shape of the pond, mark it on the ground using a can of spray paint. Your pond should also be enjoyed from inside your home, so before you break ground, check out the indoor view. The key to a low-maintenance pond with crystal clear water is a filter system like those used in swimming pools.
This pond is actually going to have two filters. This one works much like the filter on a fish tank, and follow me over here, Ron. On this side, we're going to have a mechanical filter that's going to handle surface debris. In the back of this, we have a flexible pipe that will go between the two and recirculate the water.
It's time to start digging. The excavated dirt, rather than being hauled away, is piled around the edge of the pool. It will eventually form a decorative mound or berm that will conceal the larger filter. The skimmer filter is set into a hole so that water from the pond can flow into it. This pond will be 2 feet deep in the center. The sides are dug so that they're stepped down like terraces. Several bowls are cut into the bottom. Later, these will become built-in containers for water lilies. Once the hole for the pond is dug, a fabric underlayment is placed inside to protect the pond liner from protruding rocks and roots. Next, the plastic liner itself is laid in place. The crew makes sure it's properly formed over the ledges and carefully tucked into curves and corners. This liner, with an expected life of up to 50 years, is what gives the pond its ability to hold water. The bowls that were earlier formed into the bottom are now filled with cat litter, which will provide a growing medium for the water plants we'll be putting in later. Next, large rocks, 6 to 12 inches in diameter, are stacked against the vertical sides of the terraces. A backyard water garden comes alive at night with the installation of low-voltage underwater lighting, and you can control those lights automatically with an inexpensive timer like this. Finally, 1 to 2 inches of gravel and pebbles are placed on the pond bottom, completely concealing the plastic liner and protecting it from the sun. Once the rocks and gravel have been washed and the muddy water pumped out, aquatic plants are set into place as the pond is being filled with clean water. Excavated soil surrounding the pond is now shaped and contoured to blend in with the environment. Rocks are laid in place to create a waterfall. Ed Ballou, a water garden designer, explains how it's done.
The trick, Ron, is to find rocks that have a nice flat edge on it, and then when I position them, I want to make sure they're level from side to side and leaning slightly forward so it looks like the water is crashing down a series of steps bouncing around towards the bottom pool.
To create a natural setting for the water garden, the edge of the pond and the mound under which the filter is buried are planted with terrestrial plants that blend with the yard environment. Finally, it's time to turn on the pump and get ready to enjoy a piece of paradise. Now, one final point here. A garden like this, a water garden like this, really requires very little maintenance, provided it's ecologically balanced. Now, that means having plants, fish, and natural bacteria in here, and of course, a good filter system like the one you saw us install. Remember, this filter is underneath that waterfall over there.
Hi, I'm Greg Whitstock. I'm the president of Aquascape Designs. I started Aquascapes out of my love of nature and wildlife, and in the beginning, I probably made every mistake possible when it came to building water features. I started out in my backyard, and I like to refer to my backyard as my classroom because that's where I experimented with all the filtration systems and different design features that we now incorporate. In 1991, I launched Aquascape Designs as a residential and commercial design build firm specializing in water feature development.
A water feature project begins with educating a potential customer on what they can do with the yard. People have a hard time understanding scale drawings. Laying out a garden hose lets your customer envision the final size and shape. Once the size and shape are determined, mark it with paint. The Pro Pond kits come with everything you need to construct your water garden. Everything arrives and is packaged together to assemble your kit. Many 11 by 16 pond kits like the one installed here come boxed complete via UPS. Bigger ponds requiring customization like the addition of a long stream need to be ordered and shipped standard freight. Either way, everything you need arrives complete. The assembly process is the same for any sized pond that you build. By following the step-by-step system, most ponds under 200 square feet can be built in 50 man-hours or less without the use of any equipment. That means a crew of 5 or 6 guys can complete a pond in only one day. The key to success is following the sequential step-by-step assembly process. By doing this, everyone knows what needs to be done next. This pond was built and completely landscaped, including the aquatic plants, in only 48 man-hours with no equipment. Your cost for this 11 by 16 high-efficiency mini kit is $1,079.82. After plants, rocks, gravel, and labor costs, profit should be about $4,000 if you sell this pond for a finished cost of $7,500. Beneath every beautiful pond in this video is the patented heart and soul of the Aquascape ecosystem. The skimmer filter at the left holds the pump and handles surface debris. Water is pumped through flexible PVC piping to the biofalls. Conventional pond filtration systems are designed to filter water, not become part of the pond. Unfortunately, trying to make these filters fit naturally into the landscape is difficult at best. For the do-it-yourselfer, these systems are often frustrating because they need to be cleaned often and thus left exposed for view. Additionally, box-design filters are hard to incorporate into a waterfalls with discharge pipes pushing water over stacked stones. Discharging a filter directly into the pond solves the problem of leaks, but also is not as beautiful as a waterfalls. With a biofalls filtration system, creating natural and beautiful waterfalls is a snap. Unlike traditional box filters, the biofalls becomes a waterfall. Water, instead of being pushed through pipes, pools up in the open top and spills over the stones by gravity. No two waterfalls look alike because no two stones are the same and no two settings are identical. With 3 different sized biofalls from which to choose, from 23-inch width to 53 inches in diameter, any pond can be fitted with a biofalls. Put in tandem, you can make waterfalls as wide as you want them. As a designer, you have the option of burying the biofalls to have no drop, or raising it off the ground to create as high of a waterfall as you want. Leaks become a thing of the past with the new patent-pending snout assembly, which locks the liner into place. The time and aggravation of building leak-free waterfalls is a thing of the past for both contractors and do-it-yourselfers alike. A lot of manufacturers make very complicated and technical filtration systems to keep water clear. UV light sterilizers, box filters with fancy filter medium for bacteria to colonize, and exotic shapes and functions are all intended to filter water. A lot of them work great. However, they're hard to hide, and most tend to be overkill for what's needed. Trying to hide a filtration system behind a wall does not make it conducive to install in only one day. Plumbing inside the pond is also unsightly, and complicated systems do not necessarily work better. In fact, the more complicated and sophisticated a system is, the more problems usually occur. When it comes to filtering a pond, good old surface area for bacteria to live on cannot be beat by UV light sterilizers or anything else. With a biofalls unit, the only thing complicated is snapping the rocks into place. Using your creativity is all that's required to make a beautiful waterfalls. Have fun! No plastic, no wires, no moving parts. The biofalls is a fast and beautiful way to make and create a beautiful waterfalls and to filter your pond. Best of all, the biofalls with a skimmer pre-filter will keep your water crystal clear with only once a year cleaning. Pumps that sit in the pond will clog and need to be cleaned frequently. By placing the pump inside the skimmer, you cannot see it. Additionally, surface debris is deposited conveniently into an easy-to-empty skimmer bag. Adding bacteria and emptying the skimmer is all the homeowner needs to do to maintain their pond. Liners left uncovered are exposed to harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun and also look unfinished. Adding rocks and gravel protect your 45 mil EPDM liner from the sun while also helping the entire ecosystem. Plants root in the gravel instead of the root binding pots. Furthermore, just like in a fish tank, the gravel grows bacteria and virtually eliminates pond sludge buildup.
String algae or hair algae grows in the rock. It's very healthy to have this. In fact, the ponds that don't have this tend to have green water problems. What you want to do is you want to try to control the growth of this algae by using a filtration system, the bacteria, plants, and fish, and developing all the systems of the Pro Pond ecosystem. Now, what you can see here growing, we like to describe to customers, it looks a little bit like moss growing in the pond. That's healthy for that ecosystem, like I said. The fish will nibble on it. Aquatic life will also live on that, like snails and other crustaceans. And it's just excellent for the overall health of the pond.
With the addition of large koi over 10 inches, long string algae will be a thing of the past inside the pond. At the world-famous Ball Seed Company's headquarters, also in West Chicago, we installed 2 ponds that they use as a backdrop for photographing their plants. Fertilized water is constantly being sprayed into the ponds, but the filtration system and gravel still keep the water clear. Water gardening can and should be the most profitable part of any landscape installation. Contractors who specialize in hardscapes, decks, patios, retaining walls, etc., or softscapes, your plant material, can tap into waterscapes to create future work. Unlike hardscapes or softscapes, which can stand alone, a waterscape needs softscaping, aquatic and terrestrial plants, and more often than not, a hardscape to be complete. Therefore, when you build a pond, you create the need for further landscaping. A water feature becomes the first stage of a multiple-stage project. Additionally, when you bid on planting a tree or building a patio based on square footage, you have to bid against every other contractor, and the kid with the wheelbarrow and an old pickup truck will only be in business for the summer. When you sell a water garden, you sell a piece of artwork. Everything is customized and one of a kind, like an original piece of art. You sell yourself, your abilities to create a bit of paradise for the homeowners. In the cutthroat contracting business, being able to charge a premium for your services as an artist is a wonderful thing. And once you install that water garden, you've created the need for further work. Even if your project spans a few seasons or years, the need for future landscaping's been established. When you build a pond, it's like a Christmas tree without decorations. Landscaping the pond or decorating the tree can be done in stages, allowing the customer to budget for their project over time. People often wonder what happens to a water garden in the winter. You can remove the pump and have an ice skating pond, or keep it running for an interesting effect. Don't worry about your fish. Ponds that are as little as 24 inches deep can support fish year-round in as cold as Zone 5 winters. As long as you keep the waterfalls running or place a pump slightly below the surface to keep the water moving, your fish will survive. Moving water is that much more magical with ice shapes forming around it. Retailers should promote water gardening for the same reasons contractors do, to create future business. Seminars, signs, handouts are all good ways to build water gardening interest. Having a demo pond where people can see for themselves the beauty of water gardening will pay for itself many times over in many product categories. Displaying customers' successful photos of their project also helps to build interest. You also do not need a large store to display water gardening products. Use your display area to house your fish and the plants that you sell. People are drawn to moving water. Having a display in your window or in the front of your store will draw them in. Let them feed fish and experience water gardening firsthand. Retailers should mark products well and provide take-home literature and even a video so customers can learn about water gardening. Displaying the system so people can see it working will boost sales. Customers should also be educated on pump choices, like high and low efficiency versions. Water gardening's at an all-time high with homeowners across America. Ecologically friendly, less maintenance than grass, and absolutely beautiful, the Aquascape ecosystem is designed for you to use to tap into your customers' dreams of owning a water garden. In today's busy lifestyle, people have less and less time to take vacations and to retreat from the stress of everyday life. By creating a water garden in someone's yard, you give them the opportunity to retreat every day, right where they live. Water is cool and refreshing. Everyone loves the beauty of a water garden. And at only 2 feet of depth with shelved sides, it's much safer for children than a swimming pool. With the filtration system handling the surface debris and cleaning the water, leaving it crystal clear, the low-maintenance lifestyle of water gardening is much appreciated by today's homeowners. Customers that think fish will increase maintenance need to be educated on how they actually decrease it. It's wonderful to watch them eat, but if you don't feed them, they'll live off insects and algae that inhabit the pond. Water gardening and koi clubs are in every region of the U.S. Promoting the hobby for the benefit of all of us, these groups are an excellent way for new hobbyists to get their feet wet.
Well, it's Monday morning, the 21st, and we are out here at the Kelly residence waiting for all of the 66 landscapers from across the country to build a 16 by 21 foot pond and a 15 and 10 foot long stream.
Aquascapes is determined to destroy the fear that people have about building water features. We encourage you to participate in our Build a Pond Days we have in Chicago every July or every fall in cities across the country. Building a pond alongside Aquascapes foreman is a great way to see just how easy it is to create a paradise for your customers. The step-by-step system applies to any pond, no matter what size, shape, or location that the pond is in. The differences between a one-day pond and a one-week pond are few. Knowing what you're doing and when are just as important, and people need to be educated on why a small pond is more work and not that much cheaper than a large pond. Working alongside fellow contractors is a great opportunity to share stories and experiences while building the one-day pond yourself. A month later, this pond is already a special place for homeowners to retreat to. Every year, the pond will increase in beauty and value as the plants grow and the landscaping is finished. Adding a second waterfalls is just one of the many creative touches you as a designer can add to an aquascape kit.
My name is Dirk Hebden. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I run a company called Deseret Landscaping Corporation. Came up here for the weekend. Spent 4 days up here. Went through the parade of ponds. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I clipped off about 180 pictures. Gave me some good ideas on how to do ponds. I put in 2 ponds myself. In fact, I put in a pond right after after Greg toured around, and it worked out great. So I'm excited about it. We're going to open up a complete division on ponds. I really enjoyed, especially this one-day pond. It's hard to imagine when you're just doing it yourself and another labor that it could be done in one day, but they proved it could be done. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll definitely increase profitability, which is good.
Well, we did learn a lot, and the pond tour was excellent. We got a lot of new ideas on how to build them, and especially with the more gravel on the bottom. We were using bigger stone on the bottom, so it was a lot more work. Now we'll just basically do around the shelves, and we'll throw the gravel down. It looks just as good.
I'm Bradley with Mission Gardens Landscapes from Phoenix, Arizona. I've built ponds for about 15 years, all with shotcrete and concrete. I got this ad in a magazine that said you can build a pond in a day. And I said, bull, so I paid the fee and went. We've built 6 ponds. My first pond took us about 3 days. Second pond took us about 3 days. The third pond, we did it in a day with a 6-man crew. So it can be done. On all the ponds, I had no callbacks, no concrete, no cracks, no leaks. So it's a pretty amazing system.
Oh, I definitely use it. It's easier and the system's great. It's real simple to pick up on and it looks beautiful.
Attend a Growing Your Water Feature seminar in your area and learn firsthand how to increase your water feature business. After the seminar and Build a Pond Day, you'll be well on your way to water feature success. Our Growing Your Own Water Feature business video set is a must-have for the serious contractor or retailer. Our advanced construction video covers the step-by-step process as well as big project installations. Filmed by foreman for foreman, this video takes you into the trenches with Aquascape's crew.
Placing the stones on the different ledges that you have built in there really allows you to hide the liner and also a place for the gravel and the plants to grow into. I like to usually start midway to all the way on the bottom, and that allows you to pull the wrinkles out as you're placing the stones. If you start up on the top, you might have areas that get pulled taut, and that's not good to stretch the liner like that. So usually start halfway down to the very bottom when you're placing the rocks.
Ed will show you how to survive on the job when you forget your lunch at home.
Good.
At the end of the day, we really get to unwind out here, and forget about everything else that happened during the day, and it's like being on vacation. It's not like sitting in your own yard. We've even had a couple people comment at the party we had, they thought they were in Mexico.
The Create a Paradise video will sell more ponds for you by letting customers experience what it's like to live with a pond even at night. Remember, everything you need to build your pond comes with your kit. You choose either a high efficiency or low efficiency kit, the size of pond that you want. We'll take care of the rest. Our shipping department will assemble your order and ship it to you ready to install. We inventory everything we carry, and everything for your order will be assembled and shipped from our offices in West Chicago. Contractors who require custom standard lots for a job can be serviced no matter how big their project is. We'll custom cut your liner for your requirements. Custom lots larger than UPS size will be shipped palletized via motor freight. Helping you succeed at building and selling water features is our first goal as a business. Hopefully this video gave you some new ideas on how water gardening can affect your bottom line. Whether you're a contractor or retailer, tapping into the surging popularity of water feature construction can affect your entire business by creating the need for future sales. Water features do not need to be complicated, hard to build, or high maintenance. The keys to water gardening success are having good products and a proven step-by-step assembly process. Everything that Aquascapes carries has to first be proven in the field to work and stand up to the test of time. Aquascapes products are all designed and sized to work together. Mixing and matching of pond components from many manufacturers is a crapshoot at best. The products that Aquascape carries from other manufacturers have all been assembled to work as part of the system. Your assurance of quality is, everything you receive has proven itself in the field and not the laboratory. Good luck and happy pondering.